What's up, guys? It's 9:30 p.m., July 26th. I just watched Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb by Stanley Kubrick. You know what time it is? It's closet quickie time. Let's get right into it. This movie's a classic, obviously. I mean, this movie really is a masterpiece, I believe. I first saw it when I was 14. I'd already been a little bit accustomed to Kubrick movies. I'd seen The Shining and A Clockwork Orange and Full Metal Jacket and 2001. I'd loved them all. For some reason, this one, I always thought it was longer. It's like one of his shortest movies. It's 95 minutes. I'll get into that later about that really tight 95 minutes with the script. But yeah, I for some reason thought it was a longer movie, but it is really short. And I did think the humor was funny, and obviously like the satire and the commentary it had. But I really didn't understand all of it now. I'm not saying I do now, but on this rewatch, I really was able to see so much more and appreciate and see just really how much subtext there is in everything. I mean, the script really is, everything in this movie, I think really is perfect and working on so many great levels. But the thing that really ties together this movie is this impeccable script. Like I said, the 95 minutes, perfect comedy scripts. Even though this isn't a straight up comedy, it kind of is. That tight 95 minutes is really great for those types of movies, I believe. And this script does not waste a single line. Every single line is so either comedic or intense, or it has so much subtext underneath. I mean, there's so many different themes, whether it's dealing with homosexuality or patriotism, or obviously stuff with nuclear holocaust and such, and masculinity, and just general how our politics are ran in our country. This movie is still very relevant today. The great scene of when the president is talking, I can't remember the character Buck, and he just keeps saying like, "Oh, who approved these measures?" And it's just like, "Oh, you approved them, sir." You know, it's just so funny and way too relevant for today, which makes it so realistic. Even though this movie is so dramatized, obviously, it still feels so realistic. Something that's really comparable is a movie, Failsafe. I watched this a few months ago. It's also a movie that came out in 1964. It's about a fault happens, like a random wiring mishap happens, and nukes are sent on the way to Russia, and it follows the president and war rooms trying to figure it out. But it's a lot darker, grittier take on it, and that movie is phenomenal. I really, really do love that movie. It's really twisted and dark and gritty, and I love it for it. But even though it was trying to be more realistic in that sense, it ended up making it less so. And I believe with this movie, the way that it's so almost cartoonish in its ways, that paired alongside the brilliant subtext and relation to everyday people and people who actually exist, really tie it together to have the great comedy alongside like these really tense, honestly sad moments at times. Like there's some moments where you get a little bit emotional, honestly, not too much, but a little bit at times. The intensity really does it. It gets just as intense as it does in Failsafe. Which is saying something. I mean, I really felt myself, my legs a little shaking in my boots a little when I was watching it. I was like, shit, even though I knew what was happening, I knew what's gonna happen, I still felt that intensity on this second time alongside just that humor. God, the humor, it works on so many levels. This viewing, I guess, I was able to obviously, alongside the subtext, understand a lot more of the comedic jokes, and so much of it, I was just laughing and laughing the whole time. There's so many great quotes and scenes, and it's not just that, the visual, the directing from Kubrick is obviously just masterful, and it ties into the comedy so well. There's so many just hilarious shots, either the way that it edits back and forth between just a shot reverse shot like in that president scene, or doing these quick zoom ins or zoom outs, sort of reminiscent of Edgar Wright and Wes Anderson. Obviously this was beforehand, they're reminiscent of that, but tomato, tomato. But all of it just, I mean, it just works on so many different levels. And with that, then there's the cinematography, which brings that gritty element with the nice, the smoky atmosphere with those deep, lush grays. Just, I mean, you've never seen The Color Gray if you haven't seen this movie. It's really, really insane, and that builds onto the gritty tone. And, like I was saying, this movie really balances it so perfectly while also just staying consistently hilarious throughout until the very end, which has probably one of the best end lines of all movies. My hero, I can walk! Which is just a great story behind it too, with Peter Sellers just forgetting that his character can't stand and improvising that line, and it's different than the original ending that Kubrick had intended. There was supposed to be like a pie fight in the war room, which I could see it working, but this ending is just way too perfect, and thank God it worked out that way, because it really was the perfect way to tie up this movie with that tight, what I was saying, that tight 95 minutes. It really does not waste a single beat. It is constantly building the tension, building the laughters up until the final second, and yeah, there's not too much else to say about this movie. I really, really love it so much. So much of it will stick with you forever. I mean, there's just way too much to think about with this movie. I'll be thinking about it till the end of time, of rewatching it endlessly, never getting old of the comedy, never feeling not intense, and ever learning more and understanding more of the subtext that was just brilliant, woven into every aspect of this movie. Yeah, that's it. That's the Quickie. Check me out. I have the official Instagram and Twitter up right now. In the Closet, WJN, in the Closet with Jacob Nestor. Go follow me there. I'll be posting updates, obviously, on Closet Quickies and the podcast. Sorry the first episode of the podcast got delayed, ran into some other issues. That should be out by the end of this week. I'm going to try and pump out a few more Closet Quickies before then to, give you guys something to enjoy. Just watch into free time until we get to that. Remember, it's going to be on Palm Springs and top 5 of the year. Super excited for that. Follow up on the social. Share this. Leave a review. And thanks for watching.